Recently, I took a trip down to Florida to hit SeaWorld Orlando and Busch Gardens Tampa, knocking out 2 bucket list parks for me and adding a total of 12 coasters to my all-time count, now bringing it to 83. A lot of these coasters ended up on my top 15, and I'll make a video on that later, but right now I just wanted to count down my top 12 coasters from both Busch Gardens Tampa and SeaWorld Orlando in one video. Let you know how these wonderful machines stack up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Thank Your Ride Ops. Welcome back. Real quick, just wanted to give a dishonorable mention to Icebreaker. This thing was broken like most of the day, and then when it reopened at night, it was a 60-minute wait. We waited. We were like maybe 5 minutes away from getting on, and then it broke down again and did not reopen for the rest of the night. So, thank you, Premier Rides. This is not the first time you've let me down with your poorly reliable coasters, and it probably won't be the last. But for now, I did not get a ride on Icebreaker, and I probably will not for a long time. Okay, and one more disclaimer here. I did not do any of the kiddie coasters because I'm not that desperate for credits, and I was just trying to have a good time. Even though we definitely had time of the day because it was very dead, especially at Busch Gardens. SeaWorld was pretty crowded, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Number 12 is Scorpion, and I honestly think the only reason I ranked it last is because I have a Schwarzkopf double loop in my home park, and this one just felt super tight, super compact. You get a really intense moment at that, in that little vertical loop there, but it's overall just a short ride, and in a park with such stacked lineups, in 2 parks with such stacked lineups, it kind of just disappears. It's also really old, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't last much longer at Busch Gardens. Now coming in at number 11, also from Busch Gardens, is Cobra's Curse. Now don't get me wrong, this is a super fun ride. Busch Gardens really doesn't have a bad coaster since they removed Sand Serpent, and it's a fun ride, fantastic theming, probably like the best on any I've been on, not at Universal or Disney. Fun family coaster, but really everything else in the lineup just kind of overshadows it. And here is a little video of me running into a rail in the queue because it was really dark in there. And at number 10, we have Tigris, a Premier Skyrocket, and regardless of how I feel about Premier Ride's reliability, Tigris was running. So, yeah, there's a reason Herschend has invested in so many Premier Skyrockets. It's their compact model, and they can pack in some thrills. That swing launch is super fun, always a great time to go backwards on a roller coaster. Once you get to the top up there, you get that super fun hang time roll, and that drop off the top of the tower is a great time. This thing is a capacity nightmare, as all swing launch Skyrockets are, but make sure you hit it while you're at Busch Gardens. There is really not a bad coaster I went on this trip. Coming in at number 9, we have the first of the B&Ms on our list, Kraken. These parks are home to some awesome B&Ms, and Kraken just happened to be the weakest for me personally. Kraken still gives an incredibly smooth ride for its age, and it's so much fun. That first drop into the huge vertical loop is awesome. I loved all the interaction with the walkways and the entrance and the dives underground. These 2 parks are really good at using those. But yeah, Kraken is super fun, always a really short wait time too. We went on a really busy day, and Kraken was 5 minutes all day. So if you're looking for a nice short wait to break up all the long waits, especially at SeaWorld because they don't have as many coasters, Kraken is your way to go. Coming in at number 8, we have SheiKra, America's first B&M dive coaster. Now, dive coasters have become super common today, but back when SheiKra opened in 2005, it was crazy unique. That hang time on the drop makes it worth it to wait for the front row every time. And yes, this is going to scare the crap out of some people in your party, but it's going to be worth it. SheiKra is super fun, standing at 200 feet tall. That first drop is insane, and the splashdown into the lagoon is just such a beautiful element. SheiKra is a great ride, but realistically, I just couldn't put it over anything else on this list because I got some good coasters coming up for you. Coming up next at number 7, it's Pipeline, the surf coaster. Now, some of you may have seen this in the short I uploaded with Beach Boys music, but this ride is just such a unique experience. Now, B&M stand-ups are not that great. I've been on Riddler at Six Flags, and it was fun, but this is just a whole new game. Instead of focusing on intensity like the old stand-ups did, this one focuses on floating and just coasting along with some pure airtime. It has a super fun launch to start out, and really this is just such a fun coaster. I ranked it above SheiKra and everything for its pure uniqueness. I'm sure some parks are going to invest in a surf, but it's going to be a while before we see another one. So get down and ride Pipeline, because it is such a unique experience. Coming in at number 6, it's a true classic. It's a legend. The ride that roars, Kumba. Busch Gardens classic B&M looping coaster. I really loved Kumba. We were lucky enough to get it right after it reopened for some probably much needed maintenance, because this thing was running like a dream when we rode it. So smooth, barely noticeable shake. Then again, we were in the front row, so that may have helped, but it was not a jostle going through those, like, I think 7 inversions. Kumba is crazy. It is so fun. It is so loud, and the terrain work on this thing is just incredible. I love this is so weird to say, but I love the color of Kumba. Kumba is a classic. Make sure you get on it before it might close soon, so get on it quick. Coming in at number 5 is possibly my most controversial opinion about roller coasters, and it's that Montu is number 3 at Busch Gardens Tampa. I loved Montu so much. This thing is ridiculously intense and just packs in the inversions, especially down in those trenches. You get hauling, and somehow it is still butter smooth. You barely hit your head against the headrest at all. And I've been on some really rough and intense B&M inverts. Montu is really something special. It's definitely the best invert I've been on. This thing is incredibly snappy. The inversions give some ridiculous whip, especially the double sidewinder. Oh my gosh. Montu is just insane. You might pass out on this thing, but it is totally worth it. Go ride Montu. Coming in at number 4 is why my number 5 pick is so controversial. This is Cheetah Hunt. I love this thing, and I really don't understand why people call it a family coaster. Like, I get it. It's fun for everyone. It really is. And I really just love the super long, sprawling ride experience. Those launches are so much fun. The Windcatcher Tower is so unique. That thing you're seeing on screen right now, that's the Windcatcher Tower. You do a figure 8. It's like simulating a cheetah stalking its prey in the African savanna, and it's very cool. You get some sweet pops of airtime on this, and you just know I'm a sucker for a good Intamin Blitz. This thing has a super long, sprawling layout. It interacts with the rock work and the water. The water was on when I went, so... And this is my baby. Just look at his little face. It's so cute. The car is a cheetah. You ride on the cheetah. Anyway, it's time for everyone to give Cheetah Hunt another chance, or just give it a first chance without anyone's opinion if you ever hit up Busch Gardens Tampa. I loved Cheetah Hunt, and I think you might too. Coming in at number 3 is Manta, the B&M Flyer. This thing is so awesome, and while a lot of B&M Flyers focus more on intensity with this awesome pretzel twist like you see here, and Manta still has that, Manta tends to focus more on the grace of flying, especially in the second half, which I loved. The second half of this ride is insane. You do some dives down by this lagoon, you get some near misses with the rock work, and I got a night ride on this thing while the fireworks were going. This splashdown here is awesome every time, and yeah, Manta is a pretty magical experience, and everyone should ride this one. It's a great ride. Coming in at number 2 is my 75th roller coaster. It's Mako. This thing is awesome. My first ever B&M Hyper, and wow, that was a lot of floater airtime. That first drop is super awesome, as well as all those little bunny hills. And the second half focusing more on speed, running in that spaghetti bowl right over the big SeaWorld lagoon. Mako was so awesome, and I think it belongs in the number 2 spot, regardless of how much I wrestled with it or Manta for number 2. Mako was super fun, and I can't wait to ride it again. Coming in at number 1 is pretty obvious, Iron Gwazi, the nearly undisputed coaster king of Florida. This thing is insane, downright murderous at times. This thing has an element called the death roll. Yeah, that's legal. They can make that and put it on a roller coaster, and you're gonna ride it. Now, Iron Gwazi is ridiculously tall, 206 feet. It is ridiculously fast, 76 miles per hour, and it has a beyond vertical drop. Barely. But this thing is just, you're not going to know what happens to you on Iron Gwazi when you get off. All you're going to know is you're going to want to do it again. This thing is non-stop. I had bruises on my thighs from the amount of ejector airtime you get on this thing. It is throwing you out of your seat. Oh, here's the death roll right here. Yeah, this thing is just flat out insane. So much fun. And it's nearly indescribable. However, is it better than Steel Vengeance? That's what you're going to have to watch my top 15 video to find out, huh? So, overall, Iron Gwazi is a spectacular ride experience, and I would highly recommend it to any coaster enthusiast in the state of Florida. So that is it for my trip. 12 coasters ranked. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like on this video. If you want to share your opinions on this list at all, go ahead and comment, make fun of me for putting Cheetah Hunt over Montu. I really don't care. I know I'm wrong, and I love being wrong in this situation. I'm just a sucker for good old Intamin Blitz. You know me. But thank you so much for watching this far into the video. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, folks, you know what it is. Remember to thank your ride ops.